Hey buddies, some nuts guy here. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. In today's video, we're going to go through the changelog and patch notes for the Dark and Darker playtest number 4, which just launched on the 6th of February, now as a demo on Steam, not the original playtest, so you will need to go to the store page and download the demo version if you haven't done so yet. Your original playtest version will not update. Alright, here we go. First on the list, we have a new tab here at the top called the Gathering Hall, and this is essentially an LFG channel split by region. Along with this, there's also a new karma system, so if you're matching with other randos into a party, you can then give them a little feedback, well, a little positive, a little negative, and apparently scoundrels and deviants will not be able to participate. And I don't know exactly what that means, but maybe it means that once you have too much negative rating, you will not be able to party with people through the Gathering Hall. Now, they've also added a new voice over IP system, which will allow us to communicate with our team members that we're matching with through the LFG system. They've added a Goblin Caves solo map. So this is a map specifically for solo players. It's experimental. They're essentially playing with the idea as to whether a solo map is really necessary. And I think it's quite cool. Unfortunately, it's not quite optimized very well from my experience so far. I've gotten multiple kills. I got a full load of loot. I'm the last man standing. I'm in the final zone looking for an exit portal. One spawns. I can hear it like on the floor above or in the distance. And like I got to run really far into the zone, up some stairs. And finally, basically, it's not quite optimized yet. Obviously, they've only had a month or so to put it together. And it is just an idea to see whether solo maps are something that is going to be necessary or not. This next one I think is one of the biggest and best changes, in my opinion anyway, because what I hated about the previous playtests was you get a bunch of gold, you get a bunch of items that you want to sell, and buying and selling things just took far too long. I'd spend 20-30 minutes trying to sell one item, or just trying to buy one item or one loadout, and then you load in, you get some bad luck, and you die faster than it took to buy that single item. Unfortunate. Now, what they've done is they've broken this down better into different categories, so you can actually go into buy specific gear for specific loadouts, classes, and even further than that, they've actually added filters as well. Now, this is kind of like similar to a Warframe system where you can kind of customize what exactly you want to have in there. You can cross select various things, so you can have a full list of just the items that you would like to buy. I would really like to see an auction house coming, but this is the next best thing for us. They've added a new report system so that we can round up those that need to be punished. They've added some new cosmetics to the store, and also they've added a new race, the Elves, which have an increase in agility and a decrease in strength. That's alongside the previous other race that you could choose of skeletons, which have a armor rating reduction and a magic resistance increase. They've added 2 new weapons, a quarterstaff and a short sword. They also say that some of the unique weapons have been greatly improved, but they didn't give any further information, and I haven't been able to find any on the market for you. The attack animation for the War Maul, Double Axe, and the Battle Axe have been greatly improved, apparently. The animations there for the attacks, and they've also added more varying damage to the different attack animations. So what I mean is when you're comboing your attacks, whatever weapon you're using, when you're comboing attacks one after another, you'll have different movements for each attack, and those different movements will correlate to different amounts of damage, which apparently now is going to be varying even more than it used to. They've also added new head armor slots, although I haven't found any of those yet myself, so I don't know exactly what that means, but new head armor available in the game. They've also added a new spell for the clerics, which concentrates on a specific area for a certain period of time, healing friendly beings within the area by 7 per second, and dealing 14 spell damage per second to undead within the area. There's now a new tier of ore called Cobalt, along with their associated craftable items, which is essentially a blue variant of craftable, more commonly found, and obviously less good gear, but now we have options for which ones we can go for. Just like previous playtests, we have the special event trade merchant here, called Valentine in this case. You can use candies to purchase a rotating array of various items. This one I find interesting. So we got the Goblet Merchant back. He now actually has a proper picture. And instead of selling rings and jewelry like he used to, he now sells unidentified gear. So it's 100 gold You're purchasing an item, and it's going to have a random assortment of stats attributed to it. They also have an updated party invite system, so as previously, you still can go in here and search IDs to find your friends, but you can also now manage your invites via this corner tab here, which is accessible from the main screens. Another really good change that I've seen is that they've added bundled items to certain traders. So no longer do you have to buy each individual bandage one at a time. You can buy them in bulks of 3. Similarly, you can do the same with potions with the alchemist. And they also seem to have improved the speed at which filling items and purchasing them responds. So no longer do you have to fill, stash, buy, wait a second for it to figure itself out, then fill and rebuy. You can just kind of spam click those. Still, I'd like to be able to buy as many as I want if I want to buy 9 or 12 or 15 at a time, but this is better than it used to be. They've also added flavor text for more immersive game mood, and they've added new Tokyo regions plus preliminary Japanese localization, which is in a first draft stage. There's also a lot of minor changes they haven't detailed in the changelog here, but that's all of the new stuff that's going in. There is an extra section here for balancing. I'm just going to go through these quick fire for you guys. So, in terms of the balancing, they've moved the starting spawns from the edge of the map to the interior and added more variations to test. I'm not sure if I'm on board with this. The spawns feel kind of random, and some of the discussions I've seen in Discord kind of feels like if you get a good spawn, you are in a great position, and you can stay there and kind of be in a good position for a large part of the map. Whereas previously, I did feel like even everyone started out fairly equally and had to work their way to the middle, which is where the better rooms were. They have a 2-handed weapon attack movement penalty, which has been reduced. They've added +1 base stat point to agility for the cleric to normalize the class with all other classes. They've rebalanced the wizard's starting stats, added a projectile damage fall-off system where damage slightly decreases based on distance. Currently, the effect is very small. They've also, and maybe they'll get to this in a sec, but they've also made the bullet drop or arrow drop on bows greatly increased. It really feels like I saw someone in Discord say they feel like they could throw the arrow better than the bow shoots it. Plate armor has been improved to give more bonuses. Lightfoot boots, regal gambeson, and Templar armor are a little slower. Rapier damage has been slightly buffed. And installed pavise can now be knocked down by an attack. They've buffed many of the less frequently used perks and skills in an attempt to vary the gameplay styles a little bit more. Wizard's light spell now removes the hide status, but it doesn't remove the invisibility status. They've increased the duration of an installed campfire, but the recovery effects per tick has been reduced. You'll need to sit at a campfire for a longer period of time compared to last playtest for the same recovery effects, which I guess in some ways is good, in some ways is bad. It's going to waste more time once the campfire is down. However, if your buddies weren't quick to respond to the campfire going down, they missed a large part of the heal from the campfire. So I guess this is overall probably a good thing. All right, that's that for the changelog in terms of the information they've given us on Discord. As mentioned, there are a number of minor changes that they haven't detailed in there, and I'm sure as hotfixes come out through the playtest, things will change. I'll try to keep you guys updated on those as things progress. I've been absolutely loving Dark and Darker. I started in the second playtest, played through the third, got a ton of hours logged and absolutely loving it. So now I would really like to start building some guides, tutorials, tips, tricks, as well as keeping up to date with the dev updates and whatnot, and generally building an audience of guys that enjoy watching Dark and Darker content. We'll also be getting some for fun videos out. I wouldn't say, it's obviously not playthrough, it's let's play. We'll get a couple of let's plays out. We'll have a lot of fun with it, and we'll do some solo stuff. We'll do some squad stuff, maybe some solo squad stuff. Because now that there's a solo map, solo squads is, if you go into the main map as a solo, you're very likely to be fighting against squads because most solos will be in the solo map. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing. And as always, great to see you in the comments. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Take care. Some nuts guy. Grab gaming by the nuts.